Hey everyone, last summary for the entire week, just about election week, what's been happening this week after. I can't wait to have a bit of a break in the coming weeks, but these are the closing things and everything you need to know. So, the Senate count is still going right now. They're about 70% concluded. Some very interesting points about the Senate vote, which is that we're still on track for 4 to 6 senators. That's really good for the freedom movement. It appears as though the freedom parties that are in the running for them are still the UAP, One Nation, and the Liberal Democrats. I'm hoping we see a bit of a combination, but that's typically what we see. If you're just tuning in right now, give this a share, get it out there. This is everything you need to know to close off election week. So, yeah, it's looking like we're going to get 4 to 6 senators. That's really good. I mean, this is the first time we've sort of gone to a proper federal election where we've been able to mobilize everyone. Amazing result. The senators we know that did get up include Senator Jacinta Price from the Northern Territory. She's with the Country Liberal Party. Then you've also got Matt Canavan for Queensland. It's looking like Pauline will get up. It's looking like the One Nation candidate for South Australia will get up, Mrs. Game, or Senator Game, soon to be. WA is still in play, very tight for the One Nation candidate. They need scrutineers. Victoria still in play. It's looking like either UAP or One Nation. Tasmania, by the skin of our teeth, we might see Lib Dems or the UAP get up. We've also got New South Wales, which is sort of in play. Either the Liberal person will get it or the One Nation candidate will get it. And yeah, so look, the way things are going, it's going to be quite an interesting run. But today, I did also want to reflect on the fact that that's an amazing result. That's amazing. Like, if we do this, those senators that get in, they're going to be there for 6 years. And they are going to be joining forces with the senators that we already have there, including Malcolm Roberts, Senator Gerard Rennick, and Senator Antic. That's awesome. If we perform the same way and get 4 to 6 senators in the next election, we've got the balance of power. Boom. Just like that. You know, we'll be on par with the Greens. And that's phenomenal. So we've got some good allies in the Senate. This segment, I really wanted to take the time to just say, and there's 500 of you listening right now, give this a share, get it out there. Thank you for sharing the last segment. I'm really humbled by that. But I just wanted to reflect on the fact that we have successfully quantified the size of the freedom movement. And that is not a small feat. You guys should all be impressed by what you've done and proud. The unique thing about the freedom movement is it's roughly 15 to 25% of the population, the voting population. We've got a lot of kids in the movement, obviously, as well. But the unique thing about it is this last election, we saw a third of people vote for Liberal, roughly a third vote for Labor, and a third voted for independent candidates. Now, that includes the freedom parties and also the Teal party, but also the Greens as well. But there's this 15 to 25% of people, which is the freedom movement, 15 to 25% of voters, where they're in the freedom movement and they are the most formidable 15 to 25% of the population. Why? Because if you look at the 30% in Liberal, the 30% in Labor, or even that 15 to 20% in the Teals and the Greens, they are not able to do what we have just done. What have we just done? Well, we've done a lot of things the last 20 years. We have successfully quantified the size of the freedom movement, and we have demonstrated the ability to, one, mobilize hundreds of thousands of people from across the continent in their home cities, but also in our state capital. Even from as far as WA, people came to Canberra. That's amazing. You think Scott Morrison was able to do that at his peak popularity? No. Do you think Albo, who just finished the election supposedly on a high, would be able to do that right now? No. I think we underestimate the power of this 15 to 25%. And I think the major parties know it. And that's just one way, being able to mobilize people on very short notice in a location of our choosing. That's amazing. The second one, translating that into the voting is also amazing. We're seeing something like 15% of the lower house votes and the Senate votes coming out for freedom parties. That equates to one senator every state. we're able to replicate that in the next election. We did it in this election. I think that's amazing. And you know what? The harder they push us the next few years, that's only going to keep growing. I think the major parties are majorly freaking out because of this, because it's not sustainable for them. The Labor Party are saying, yeah, we won, it was really good. But hang on a second. You guys got in, the Labor Party got in on a record low Labor vote. It's as low as it was in the early 1900s. That's not a success. People are moving away from the major parties. And that's another thing. We've helped to defund the major parties. Now, I've got to run the stats on this because the figures have been updated. But it's looking like we're on track to defund the major parties by over $10 million. Now, you might think, oh, that's nothing, Joel. No. That's not nothing. Your vote is worth $2.90 for every vote. And in this particular case, the major parties get so much funding. In the last election, the Liberal Party, for example, they got over $25 million in public funding. That's going now. $10 million from you guys picking different people and you all going and telling your friends and family to vote for someone else and not give that first preference to the major parties. That's huge. That's not nothing. That means that the major parties need to go more out to, other donors in order to make it up. That's amazing. The other one, we have demonstrated as a movement, point 3, the ability to fundraise on very short notice as well, either for the most vulnerable people in our community, and we saw that especially in the lockdown cities, especially in southwestern Sydney. There were some lovely mothers that were donating their time, donating their money, and they were helping to feed parents that couldn't feed their own kids, protecting our own vulnerable. That's amazing. That's a community. Also being able to fundraise for court cases on very short notice. Also looking at, giving advice to people so that they have tangible solutions in the workforce. That's that's absolutely amazing. That's point 3. Point 1, mobilizing people. Point 2, translating that into voting. And point 3, fundraising on a very short notice. Point 4, we created an entirely new media class in the span of less than 2 years that are challenging the major media. It's called alternative media. People like me, people like Rukshan, people like Rebel News, people like The Good Source in Queensland. That is phenomenal. People are decentralizing themselves away from mainstream sources and they're going out and getting information away from them. The only thing we've got to be careful of is making sure that we don't actually get censored. And that's why in the description you can see my email to sign up to my emails, because I don't want to lose contact with you guys. That is gold to me. If I have your emails, I'll never lose track of you. So after this, make sure you sign up to the Turning Point emails. We are providing, as an alternative media class, accurate information and also giving you the tools to fight back against the establishment. That is something we haven't really had in the past, and it's the great leveler that technology has offered us. That's amazing. So you can sort of see now the fact that 15 to 25% of the population, the voting population that we saw in this last election, that is the most 15 to 25%. It's the most powerful in the country because of what we're able to do. I mean, think about it. I know I already said it. We're able to mobilize hundreds of thousands of people to anywhere we want across the continent. We're able to translate that into votes, to vote people out of Parliament. We have 15% of the vote in every state, which equates to a senator. That's possibly 12 senators by the end of the next election. We're able to fundraise because there's so many of us on such an easy basis, even if it's $1 up front per person. And we're also able to look out for the most vulnerable in our community. And we've created an entirely new media class, decentralized. That's amazing. And if you think that's amazing, give this a share right now and get it out there. I think that we've got a very bright future ahead of us. I really do. I really do. Now, a lot of people, you were told that we were going to win government this election. That was never going to happen. And I was upfront about that from the start. I wasn't surprised when I saw that we didn't win any lower house seats except Bob Katter. You can see my old videos. I was scarily accurate. Even Craig Kelly unfortunately lost his spot in the electorate of Hughes. But what we have done must not be understated, and you must always remember the major parties are shaking in their boots. The Labor Party got off easy. They did. They had one of the lowest, if not the lowest primary vote since the early 1900s. That's amazing. That's not a win. That's not sustainable for the establishment. You watch them. They're going to go hard after the freedom parties, even more so than they did in the past. So what do we do from here? Well, there's a few things. We've still got to scrutineer and count the votes. We've still got to make sure we keep in mind giving you accurate information. But please sign up to the Turning Point Australia email list. Sign up to your favorite media in Australia. Support them. Not just Turning Point. Go to your favorite one. Donate to them. Become a regular subscriber. I know many of them, rather than receiving $100, they would rather receive $10 or $5 regularly on a monthly basis. A lot of people, they subscribe to newspapers and they do it on a monthly basis. I do to the Australian newspaper because I have to read it. Do that because that's going to help them project into the future. But the last thing I really want to say is it's been a wild 2 years. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Remember to take a break. And I'm not telling you to switch off. No, not at all. I mean, I'm barely switching off. But just remember to take a break, spend some time with your family after the count's done, Even this weekend, find a pocket of time, spend time with your family, because ultimately that's the reason why you're doing this. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Spend time with your kids, spend time with your parents, your siblings. For those of you that don't have that anymore, I'm sorry to hear that. But you've got a home with the freedom community. But just remember that this 15 to 25% that we have just carved out, that is not nothing. That is amazing. And it's only going to continue to grow from here. The best is yet to come. This is a marathon, and the major parties are shaking in their boots. And I don't want to see you guys burn out, so make sure you take a break. So I'm preparing for what's happening in November, the state election. I'm preparing to give you guys as much accurate information as possible. And I want to thank you guys, especially those of you that have been with me for the full 2 years, for being with me and having my back. You're absolute legends. Thank you so much. I just can't believe what's going on. It's like a movie. I can't believe what's happened the last few years. It's been amazing. I'm going to end it there, but everyone, please give it a share. There's 600 of you listening live. There are people that need hope right now, and I see nothing but good news in front of me. I really do. I'm realistic. I was realistic about the election result, and that's what we're seeing right now. But these positives cannot be ignored. They cannot be ignored. What has happened these last few years and the ability to build an entire movement that encapsulates 15 to 25% of the population, that's what success looks like. We have created a community that watches each other's backs. They cannot say the same. The establishment cannot say the same. They can't mobilize people on a fast basis. They are struggling to translate it into votes, their support. They have fundraising because they've sold their soul. But that's not something that we can't counter. We have better strategies. We're smarter. We're the Aussie larrikins. We're doing a phenomenal job. And to top it all off, we've created a whole new media space, and people are starving for truth. Thank you guys so much. You are absolute legends. Please take a break this weekend. I'll continue to monitor the Senate votes. The way it works with them is they're 70% counted across the country. Even when it's 100% counted, they then have to scan the ballots, and then that ends up getting automatically done into whichever candidates with the preference votes, because it's very complicated. It's not an assumption that my vote will go to the Labor Party candidate. Maybe I preference the One Nation guy. It's a very complex thing, but I will continue to give you more coverage next week. Give this a share, get it out there. Remember to join my emailing server. I have no doubt one day I will be kicked off this platform. I will be gone, and my social media standing will count for nothing. So remember, sign up to my emails. I won't send you spam. And for those of you that have been donating, you're absolute legends. I haven't posted the donate link since the election concluded, But thank you everyone that's been a regular donor for that, to my personal PayPal, but also to Turning Point. You're absolute legends. And as I said before, the best is yet to come. We're a community. We're going to stick together. And no matter if the lockdowns come back, we're going to stick together because we are the most powerful 15 to 25% in this country. I'll see you guys later.